All right, in this video, we're going to cover the status board. This is a very powerful tool. It's an interactive tool, and it gives you a very broad look at the entire organization. And again, these can be broken down into individual areas or even down to station levels. But right now, this is a headquarters global view, and the stations can have any variation of this. So I'm going to go over a couple of them here and just give you an idea of what some of the possibilities are. Again, we're not glued to any of this. This is just based on some information that I have and some prior knowledge of the department. And this is what I come up with. So again, we have a status board. The vision is that this would be somewhere in the headquarters in like a 52 or a 48, 52, 60-inch television suspended in the ceiling or from the ceiling or something like that. So it's a visual representation to let you know what's going on today, sort of thing. So what we have here is we have the board broken down into the various different areas from the country. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, again, I want to preface by saying these may not be the correct stations in each particular area. I don't have that information available to me. So it's just random plucked in there. So don't pay any attention to the names. Just recognize that these are what's in red are stations. And on the right hand side are active calls. So any active calls will come in, will show up on this here, and it'll tell you what area it's at and what station it's been assigned to. And then we have some other here's where we can have some officers, directors, whatever else have you, some support staff. These are just filler areas. We can put whatever we want. And then over here, the vehicle inventory. This is a list of vehicles that are warehoused somewhere, but they're not in service for various reasons. OS is out of service. Maintenance means just that. It might be down for a tire change or something like that. But these vehicles, unless it says OS, these vehicles can be used. They can be deployed if needed. But when it's OS, then the vehicle is not available because there's some deep mechanical problems with it. It's typically the way it would look. Up here is the current weather condition. This is right now it's key to Kingston, and it gives you wind direction, and that can be dependent on the location where you're logging in from as to what that weather forecast would be. But that would be quite helpful. So what you're seeing now is along the bottom we have a marquee or a ticker tape, so you can post messages out there. So these messages can be general messages. They could be specific to certain stations. They could be specific to certain areas. So you can target certain areas. So you might have a fire watch in a certain area because of the dryness. So you may want to, say, hey, be advised that we're, level 3 in area 2 for the threat of fire, whatever process you guys have in place for that. Or you could be sending out messages to remind people to take a vehicle off the road or to do something. So that's a good way of getting quick communication out there. You can also schedule to show up every day. So if it's Saturdays and that's the day that the fire station is to be cleaned, then you could have a message come up every Saturday that said, hey, reminder of the crew, the station needs to be cleaned on today's date. So that's what's there, and you can use that information to disseminate information. So the other areas that we have up at the top here, there are areas that we can switch the mode of the board, or switch the mode of the status board. But before that, let's talk about why these things are all in red. The stations are in red because every one of them has a minimum staffing requirement. And again, these are just things that I've made assumptions. So if headquarters has a minimum staffing requirement of 6, then if there are less than 6 people on duty, then that station will turn red. So it's a good idea that when you come in and you're looking at this board, you want to see green. You want everything to be green. Because if it's green, that means you are at your peak staffing level for all stations in all areas. And we'll show you how that works, and that works in conjunction with the mobile app. And I'll just bring that in for a second. This is the mobile app. You'll require I just have to refresh that app because it's showing that I'm logged in when in fact I'm not. So let's bring that back again here. So this is the mobile app, and it can show that I know I'm assigned to headquarters. So you're going to see that when I punch in, you're going to see this is going to light up, indicating that I have punched in. So there we go. I punched in. It instantly logged in. So there is no delay. You're going to get that information immediately. So it shows that I logged in, and also has a little icon here next to that. And now that shows me as green. Green, I believe, is associated to me being a sergeant. So as I log in with different ranks, those icons will change. So I can look and see that I have 1 sergeant and 5 firefighters. And maybe a corporal or something like that. So you'll be able to see what is the regiment of what you have on duty. The other thing you can click, you click this icon, and instead of getting names, you're just getting a total head count. So if this is on here and you're looking again, you see that turn green because I just set the minimum to 1. So all of these are minimum at 1 right now. So as soon as 1 person logs in, it'll turn green. So this screen here just gives you a head count. So you can look and you can see the head count as to how many people are working that day. You can switch that back over. You can show the names of the individuals that are working that day. And you can also go, let's go back before that one. You can also go and show what vehicles are on that day. So these are the vehicles. This is where they're situated. And this is where your vehicles that are out of service are on the right-hand side for your vehicle inventory. So again, working with the mobile app, there are certain things that take place as well. So we'll bring in that mobile app again. So here's the mobile app, and now what we're going to do is we're going to do our report. So you'll notice here the ladder one and service one here on the right hand side. There's no indication there other than just the name. So we're going to do a report on that, and we're going to do a daily report, and we're going to do it on ladder 1. And we're going to say 2/3, and this is all full, and we're going to put that mileage at 6,200. We're going to pass everything here. Pass, 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 pass. And now we're going to submit that information. And now that that information is submitted, you can look over here under ladder, and there's a green checkbox. So what that's showing you is that the pumper daily inspection was completed that day. So again, when you're looking at the board, what you're going to want to see is you're going to want to see all greens for the station names. You're going to want to see, that means you've met the minimum requirement. And you're also going to want to see next to each one of these vehicles, you're going to want to see that green checkbox, because that green checkbox indicates that that inspection's been done for that day. So again, what you're looking at is that global overview of what your entire organization is doing. And again, these can be broken down into particular areas or just by station, depending on the size, but that's more information that I would need. So that's 2 or 3 areas of the status board. Now the third one is going to be one that was kind of either dispatch or command, and that's going to be this one here. So when we click here, what we're seeing is we're seeing our current location. So if I have this and I have this running on my laptop, or I have this running in the station, it's going to show me my current geolocation. So I would have gotten a pop-up that says, hey, this application wants to use your location. Do you agree? Yes. So you'd have to say yes to that. So now we're using your internet's location to determine the location of your vehicle. We can change that by setting the primary location. We'd have to pick the area first. Once we pick the area, then we can set the location. So if we said we're going to go in area 2, we then can set the location to say junction. So now the location would put us in this particular area here. All right, so we're at junction, and that's where the map would show up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at what some of these options mean. Well, the first thing we have, and the first thing that we can do, is we can enable GPS tracking. Okay, so enabling GPS tracking allows the system to capture my location at all times. So I'm just going to turn that on, And now that that's happening, all of the data every 30 seconds, it's going to grab my latitude and longitude, and it's going to push it up into our system so that we know where this vehicle is every 30 seconds. That could be dialed down to every 15 seconds. It just depends on what we're trying to accomplish. But right now, this person who's clicked that button is currently now being tracked by the system, and then they would show up on a map that would be in the station. So now, as you're doing that, there's a couple of features that are available, and one is called Mark Event. Mark Event might be something that you would use if you're an officer, you're in a command vehicle, and you're driving around and you're mapping out water supplies. Now, these could be water supplies that are natural water supplies or even man-made water supplies, but it's good to know where these are. So you're just going to mark event. You can say a water supply, and then you can save that. So what that done was it took your geolocation with your notes, plotted it, and said, hey, this is a water supply. The other things that you could be doing as a command, you could be going out to stations. So I went out to visit Station 4. Unremarkable, nothing happened there. So now I've got that event recorded, and then I continue on. At any time I can click that, and I would be able to see just exactly what the events are that I've done. And this then becomes part of your daily log or your daily report that the officer would then submit. And he wouldn't have to submit because it would already be submitted into the system. So at the end of his shift, you can do a sign off, Officer Smith, save, and that would end his shift for his marked events. So that's typically would be on a laptop sitting in the truck or in a computer, like in the information room where the calls are being received. You could have something like this here as well. So this is designed also to monitor calls. So to monitor a call, you just simply click these green, and that will tell you and highlight all of the fire stations and show you that this is the locations, and these are all the areas that you are currently monitoring. So that if a call comes in, it's going to show in this list right here. As those calls come in, they'll just automatically appear here, and you'd be able to click on any one of them and get the call detail. Another option that you have would be to turn on an audible alert. So what that does is this allows you to monitor the entire country, but play a specific sound if a call comes in Area 2. So I may be assigned to Area 2, and I want to make sure that if a call comes into Area 2, I'm going to know that it's coming in. And I do that by simply turning on this alarm. Now I'm going to simulate that by dispatching a call to Area 2, and you'll see what that looks like. Okay, so this would be, I'm going to add a dispatch in. Okay, so I'm going to now add in a call. So I'm going to dispatch a call in Area 2, and it's in. You can see there's that audible signal that's playing, getting my attention that there's been a call. I can see that the station has lit up, and that tells me that there's a call on Station 2. So I can quickly come, go to Station 2. I see the call details here, and now I can go ahead and click on that particular run. So that particular run shows me that from my station up to Brownstown, we have a total of 93.67 kilometers. And our arrival time to that will be 13:54:36. So that should be our ETA traveling, in that direction, taking this route. And then this will follow us as we go ahead and geoplot our location up to that. So if we decide now this is a call that I'm going to go on, what we're going to do now, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to say we're going to be en route to that call. So I would just touch that. So again, if this is at a laptop, If this is a laptop sitting in a command vehicle or in the fire pumper vehicle or tanker, whatever it is, this is where the driver would just simply interact with it. So he's got himself en route at 11:45:10, and he's expecting an arrival at 13:55. So we're going to continue with this. And now when the firefighter arrives, just before he gets out of the vehicle, he marks that as arrived. Dispatch is seeing this at the same time that he's there, and then he goes ahead and conducts his daily event. Now what he would do in this case, he's now going to mark this event. So the incident that he's on is this one, and now we're going to go ahead and so now we've got that event in there. So now we see the smoke, we do whatever it is that we're going to do. So now I, as the commanding officer, would use this mark event hydro notified. You wouldn't have to select this every time. We're still working on this, so that incident would automatically be filled in there. So hydro notified, and then at any time you're going to have a complete history of what's been going on. So we know that hydro was notified at 11:46, and then you can continue to go through this. So at the end of the day, what you're left with is a complete chronological, real-time record of what's happening and when it was happened. So this is typically what your command officer would be doing, is making sure that every direction that he gives is recorded, and it's being recorded in real time. So if this was a lengthy note, he could easily go in and just start typing in events to find out, when did I call the hydro? Type in hydro, and it comes up and says, yeah, you called it an hour ago, and it arrived 20 minutes ago. So this is a way that you can use the event tracker there. And then when this call is over, you just simply hit the depart key. It marks that record as done, and now you're back to generating the next call. So this would typically just fall off as that call gets marked done. It comes off the system completely, and I'll show you that would come there. And now that call has been removed because it's been marked done by dispatch or whoever has the responsibility of marking calls complete. What our vision is for the dispatch, we envision the dispatch having something similar to this, if not this, where the call taker would receive the information, put in the information as best as they have it. Again, this is some information that I need before proceeding. So the call taker would start to enter in the information, and Google will do its best to try to map that location. The call taker just needs to get the pin into an area approximately where the call is coming from. Then the call taker can zoom in, click that pin, and drag it right over top of where he believes that call should be, or that call is, based on anatomical things that he might be looking at. So for example, if you're looking in here and you're thinking that, okay, I know this particular area, if I change this to a satellite view, I may know exactly what they're talking about. This is that side street, and it's in this corner here. So I'm going to take my marker, and I'm just going to click right here, and that's going to put the marker right there. So as that marker gets put right there, that information is also fed to the command officer as well as the pumper, saying, hey, there's been a location change, or this is the location that you're going. So hopefully before the crew even gets in the vehicle and is en route, the call taker would have been able to pinpoint exactly the location of that call. And then that can be used to be confirmed that in fact that is the location of the call. So that's kind of a vision that I have. Again, I need more information from you guys to determine what would be the best approach when dealing with some of these more rural areas. And that is just an overview of the tracking system that we currently have available, all subject to adjustments and changes as per your operational guidelines. But that's a basic format as to where we're at today.